All right, Jason Hull here. We're talking about cloud-based project management systems for teams. So my business has always been virtual, right? So I run a web design company, and Kyson was on Facebook this evening. He friended me and messaged me, and he was asking about. You were asking me about like a project management system. What's kind of your question?
My question is if I'm running a broad number of projects that have that are very deep and a lot of moving parts, and I want to be able to see them all on one dashboard, but within that dashboard, I also want a foundation of a CRM that so that we can have the primary connectivity of the network of all the contacts that we come into contact with. And so regardless of the project, somebody can always check in at the individual and have it be numerically based on the value of the contact.
All right. So you mentioned a lot of things there, but here's like, I'm going to give you an overall principle, because like, here's what I'm all about. I love principles. Like my personal why statement I came up with is like to inspire others to love true principles. And so what that means is I like figuring out the nuggets of wisdom and then extrapolating that and using that in a variety of situations. So, and for some reason, all we see is your like knee right now, Kyson, or is that what we're supposed to?
I don't know how to turn. I don't know how to turn my.
I think if you double tap the screen, it should turn.
Oh, he's on his phone. Is it a double tap? iPhone users.
That's how you do it on Periscope. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Okay. People are saying double tap in the room here. Try double tap on the screen. Yeah. I don't know.
I would try double tap, triple tap.
Okay.
There's got to be a setting.
Maybe a setting? Yeah, I don't know. Or there should be a little camera. Usually, just like camera flip icon.
You know, there's this crazy thing. You could just like turn the camera on and face you.
Then you can't see me.
Yeah. And then I can't see you.
So here's the principle, right? So the principle usually in like cloud-based software, because I use a lot of different tools for my team, and I've used a lot of different tools, and I'm always I will get in this analysis paralysis of like digging and looking at like all the different tools, trying to find the perfect tool, right? Like when I was trying to figure out, should I use ClickFunnels or Leadpages or whatever, Robert, I was like in a complete, like, I was looking at everything for like days.
Yep.
I was like, oh my gosh, somebody just tell me, like somebody explain all this to me. So the overall principle though, that I believe when it comes to software is like, when you find a jack of all trades, it is never like a master of any of them. Like, for example, in the web design industry, there's a couple pieces of software that like do everything. Like they can do the billing and the web, like turn websites on and off and like all kinds of stuff. And then you can do retainers and you can do project management and sales and all this kind of stuff, like pretty much every system. And I thought that's so amazing. Like I would love to have one of these, like everything's in one system. My whole team's using one system for support, emails, and for project management, and for our sales CRM, and for billing, and all this stuff. And all of the ones that I tried were like so insanely complicated that nobody wanted to use them. Adoption was really poor, right? And adoption is the #1 challenge. You can find the best tool that has all of the features you're dreaming of, but if people don't want to use it, or it even just looks difficult, you're screwed. Like that's it. It's game over. Because people have so much going on, the last thing you want to do is learn your new system and your new way of doing things.
About that was
What's that?
Sorry that my whole thing just lagged. I was saying that reminds me of Slacker. I thought Slacker was
I think you need to wander near the Wi-Fi.
Team could switch over to and
oh, he's underwater now. He said Slacker. Is that the radio tool? Slacker, was that? I don't know. All right. Well, Kyson, we'll wait for you to catch up. But anyway, yeah, I've tried so many tools that were these all-in-one tools, and they just like didn't really work. Oh, we lost him. So but then then I shifted my focus. I was like, okay, all of these tools that try to do everything are really terrible. Robert, are you still with me?
Yeah, man.
Oh, you're just holding really still. Okay. I was like, no, he froze and I killed Kyson somehow. Like, maybe it's me.
No, it's not.
I point the finger. His internet sucks and his is frozen. And maybe it's me. Okay.
Oh, maybe I just sit really still.
Okay. So, yeah. So and this is like true of like any software. So then I shifted and I tried so many different things like this to make it work. And then I finally decided to shift my focus, and my philosophy since then is basically been, it's cool to look for software that can do a lot of different things. That's cool, but find one that does it like really well and is really intuitive. Like that's the game changer. If it's intuitive and easy to use and you actually like being in it, that makes a big difference. A big difference. And a big difference in the adoption rate, a big difference in whether your team can actually use it, a big difference in whether work gets done. I mean, if you imagine in a project management system, you're going to have hundreds of tasks and maybe several projects going on at a time, and you're going to have several team members in it, then there's usually just a few key features that you need that are really, really important. And then outside of that, everything sounds really nice. But if your team actually use it and it gets stuff done, that's a big deal. But if every single thing, it just takes a tiny bit of time, it takes like just to create a task. That was one of my, like, in a project management system, that was one of my rules. Like, I have to be able to just type in a task and it exists like really quickly. If I have to like click on three things, so like I did not like, for example, Zoho stuff. I never liked how their stuff looks. I'm not big on the Zoho stuff, CRM and Zoho, whatever. So, so no offense to you that are in love with Zoho. So I'll tell you what my team uses right now. So right now, let me tell you about two that are really cool. So two task management systems that a lot of people like, that are very kind of different visually. One is Basecamp. Robert, you've said you've used Basecamp in the past, right? And Basecamp's genius is that they've focused so much time and attention and optimization on making it intuitive for people to use, right? And so the reason Basecamp has been so successful, and it's like probably the one that almost everybody has used or tried, is because they spent so much effort on making the adoption to use it, to figure it out, like just really second nature or very intuitive, right? That being said, it's really limited though too. And so, but Basecamp, it's simple, it's visually nice. Like I liked Basecamp. So then there's also another one that's really popular is Trello. So have you used Trello before, Robert? You familiar with Trello?
I've not.
How about you,
used that
Kyson?
one.
You're back with us. Can you hear us? I don't hear him. Now we can see him fine. We can't hear him. Does your headset come unplugged? And he's like forward facing us.
I know. I can actually see him.
All my friends have been switching.
He's trying to talk into the mic.
So, okay. So I'll tell you about some of the tools that we use. So Trello is great. Trello is great for, so Trello uses this principle or this concept called Kanban boards. Have you heard of Kanban before? So Kanban, and it's spelled with a K, I believe, Kanban, but Kanban boards are where you have, like, I could draw it over here, but where you have columns, right? And each column represents like a stage in your process, usually like to-do items, doing items that you're working on, and items that are completed, for example. And then you have cards. And so some people will create a Kanban board like on their whiteboard or on a magnet board, and they'll just grab Post-it notes and move them. So they'll use it for the sales pipeline, for example. So we're prospecting, and here's all these people we want to prospect, and then we move them over to the next stage, which is whatever, they're a lead and then a contact and on, right? They're in the closure stage and we close them, then we win the deal, right? So Kanban boards, I love Kanban boards because I'm a very visual person. Kanban boards are very intuitive, though, also for people to use. So Trello's really become really popular because it's Kanban boards, and you create a new Trello project or board for each project that you want to have, and you can have people come into it, and you can assign tasks and stuff on these cards and have a discussion. So those two tools have become really popular. Now, what we use currently, we used to use Basecamp just because clients would use it and it worked well with clients, but then it just got crazy to like all the messages coming into it and stuff. It was really difficult to manage. So, and the newer Basecamp doesn't have, like, unless they added it recently, it didn't have built-in time tracking. And for me on a project, it's important to know like specifically who's doing what and how much time is being spent on each project, because then I know whether I'm losing or winning at the project, right?
That's what I liked about Teamwork, is it did have time tracking.
Yeah, so we switched to a system called Breeze. So I'll put the link here. It's Breeze.
Get that affiliate link.
I don't have an affiliate link. I don't even know if they have an affiliate program. Robert, I haven't done this stuff yet. I'm new to this game.
There's an affiliate link for everything.
You have an affiliate link for everything. Go make one for Breeze and you can put it in here. So Breeze, the reason I really like Breeze for my team is, one, it's really intuitive, and it's basically like Basecamp and Trello had a baby. I mean, it like visually the elements even look like it. Like it's really easy to use. I can create projects and have as many projects as I want and pull people in, and it's affordable. Like, I really like Breeze. It has built-in time tracking, so on every card on the Kanban, you can just, in it, whatever columns, and you can set the columns really quickly. You just click on the word and change it to what you want each column to be, and you can add new columns. You can add tasks instantly. It's really quick, just like Basecamp, but it looks more almost like Trello. And then on cards, each card, when you mouse over it, has a little play button. So if you want to start tracking time on a particular card, which is a task or a part of the project, you just click the play button and it starts tracking time. So it's super easy for my team to start tracking time. And not only that, but it integrates with the other systems that we use. So to get off of email entirely as a team, we use Slack. So somebody mentioned that all my friends have been switching to Slack. So we used to use HipChat internally for communication to kill all the email between team members, because that's ridiculous. Plus, we're a virtual team, so we use Slack a lot. And Slack and Breeze integrate really nicely. So for each project, you can link it to a Slack room, and then every update, every change on the project in Breeze, like somebody starts tracking time, or somebody creates a task, or somebody leaves a comment, it posts that to the Slack room. So you can just go into that room and read the feed and see what's going on. And so that's been just super easy. Nobody's ever had to really been taught how to use Slack. It's just chat. It's really easy. And is adoption, as you mentioned, 30% of the team came on board and others still stuck into email. Yeah, so Slack gets people off email really quick, and it's real time. And you create channels or rooms for each project that's going on, and then I like to link those in Breeze to each of those. So it's super cool. Plus, with Slack, you can link pretty much anything into it. So like, I've got billing software that when I get a sale, it posts to my sales room and whatever. It says, hey, this deal we just made money, or, whatever. Or if somebody like subscribes to a mailing list, it can post to a room and say, you got a new subscriber, and you can link it to your Twitter and to all kinds of things. It's pretty cool. So we use the paid version of Slack, but you can use the free version of Slack for quite a while. And we did that for quite a while. But now I paid because I have so many different integrations feeding information into the proper channels. So some of the channels that I like to make, I have one called General's Tent, and that channel is just for me and my sales assistant and my project manager. It's like we're like the kings of the empire. And then I've got a sales one that's just me and my 2 sales guys, pretty much. And then the General's Tent is a private room, but most of my other rooms I just leave open. I've got one just for support. So when support things come into our support system, it posts in there, and I can keep track of things, what's going on. So Slack's really great for eliminating the email. Now, there's a free tool that I've heard clients say they really like. I wasn't like super excited about it personally, but it looks like a really nice one. Is called Asana. It's free. And Asana, the same goal is to cut down on the email, but it's more of a project management system. Now, Kaisen, now that you're back, I'll address your question. So you're looking, yeah, pretty much everything can work with Slack, which is cool. So the cool thing, yeah, I don't know, we don't hear him at all. Do you hear him, Robert?
No.
Yeah, I don't know. Try
to take your headphones out.
Take the headphones out. Just see if the mic picks it up on your phone. Do you have an iPhone? Because if you're on an Android, that might be why. I'm just messing. All right, so
I know, right? All about that
Apple stuff. It just works, right? All right, so turn my headphones up. All right, so yeah, I've got clients that use Asana and they say it's cut down on email and they like it and it's free and stuff like that. Oh, you're on a MacBook Air. Yeah, if you
here we are making fun of his Android and he's using
if you go to the top and click on
Mike, why don't you jump out, bro?
Go to the top and click on the camera icon in your browser. If you're in Chrome, I don't know if you're in Chrome, but then you can choose which mic is being used and you can switch it. But I think from my experience, you have to like refresh the page and come back in when you switch it on some of these video tools. It like doesn't take like real time. All right, so Kaisen, one of the things you mentioned was did he leave? Is he still there? Okay. One of the things you mentioned is you want a project management system with the CRM. Now, so for me, I realize my sales team and what they're doing in sales like has nothing to do with the website projects per se. And so I can keep those pretty separate. So I use a totally different CRM. I don't even care if they integrate. It's not even a big deal. Michael wants to come in. Mike at Sprint. Do you work for Sprint, Mike?
I do.
Cool. How you doing, Mike?
Good, man. This crappy light.
Look at that Christmas tree.
Sorry.
Merry Christmas, Michael. Cool. So, but when it comes to like CRM, because there's a couple that fill that niche, right? They're the CRM project management combo. My favorite in that space that I used for a long time, even when I just used it as a CRM, was Solve. They used to be called Solve 360. That one I liked a lot because it seemed to be fairly intuitive for people, but also it integrated nicely with my biggest gripe about CRMs. CRMs are trickier, I think, than project management systems, but my biggest gripe about CRMs is if they don't pull in my email. If I have to blind carbon copy my emails to the CRM, I already automatically think it's a piece of shit. So that's one of my biggest qualifiers for a CRM. So Solve 360, when I used that, I liked it, and I liked that I can create that database however I wanted to. It had some cool features for cross-linking people and doing other stuff. But the part where you weren't here, I was saying basically, if you try to find a jack of all trades, it's not going to usually be the best at any of them. So I tend to subscribe to the philosophy of find the best in each category. So I like to get the best CRM I can find that's the most intuitive for my team to use. And Robert, that's not been Infusionsoft. It's not.
No.
Oh, man. I can't believe I spent all that money. Oh, my gosh. So, yeah. Man.
I had a client, dude, I had a client that still wants to hire me to manage their Infusionsoft, and I was like,
oh gosh, man, I drink the Kool-Aid, and I still need to cancel because they're going to charge me again. But It's expensive. All right, so I'm spending a lot more on my CRM I'm using now, but it works. It's
Which
working
one are you
well.
using?
So, okay, so for project management, I'm using Breeze. For my sales CRM right now, I'm using Base. Base has the #1 like rated like CRM iPhone app right now. Base also has built into it phone dialing, has a dialer built into it. So my sales team can just like click on a list of people and they can just start making calls like
That's
through
cool.
the web app. And
That's super
and
cool.
they just call, like it'll just go through it, and after a call, it records the call, puts it right into the CRM and pops up and says, put in your notes, and you can choose a drop down with an outcome like left voicemail, whatever, and then just put a note. Boom, next call. Like it's really cool. So so it keeps them really focused when they prospect, but also it has pipelines. The one thing it's missing is the Kanban view that I used to have on my previous CRM of where things are in the sales process. But even still, it's pretty nice. Like visually, it's very clean. Everybody on my team picked it up like right away. It's really intuitive, but it's expensive. I'm spending like $500 on that a month. So
How many?
But if I close like one deal, like one more deal, like it's a no-brainer. It's like 10% of like one deal. So
How many people do you have on your team?
I don't know, maybe like 10. Some are some are
Really?
part-time, some are small, some are closer to full-time, but we're kind of like a hodgepodge of freelancers, if that makes sense.
What do you do, man? Sorry.
I run a web design agency. So, and then I also do coaching, and I work with entrepreneurs and some other stuff. But
I just started my company like with a name, like an actual name and stuff, like yesterday.
What name did you pick? We could talk about branding some other time, but
Digital Synergy Pro.
Digital Synergy Pro. Cool. All right. So all right. So anyway, so I'm using the base CRM, right? Before that, I was using Contactually. Contactually is pretty badass. Contactually is pretty awesome. So Contactually is a very different approach. And what Contactually went and did is they stole all the best ideas from all the like cutting edge CRMs out there. But I left them because they had this glaring, like horrible problem. And the problem was like, it was like constantly like falling apart. Like it was beta software. And we had so many emails into their support team. And at the end of the day, it was just costing me deals. Notes would disappear. Like things were always just breaking. I left them this nasty, scathing review on Google, the Google Apps Marketplace, because it was on there, and I just said this, like, it's beta software. Like these guys do not know how to roll out new features. Every time they do, something would break. So Contactually has this feature set that makes it look sexy. It's like the best looking girlfriend out there, right? It's just super hot, super sexy, but she treats you like shit. That's what my relationship was like with Contactually. And and their support team was terrible. They had god awful support. But she's psycho, exactly, right? So what I did is we quit. Like I kept waiting for certain features to come out. Like for example, it originally was built for solopreneurs, right? Like realtors and real estate people. And so when you're working with a sales assistant or a team, you need to assign them tasks to follow up so you don't have to do it all. It did not have the ability to assign a task to somebody else to follow up. So as far as the CRM goes for a team, it was like pretty useless. And there were some other glaring issues. Now, one of my clients uses it because I had recommended it at one point, and he says they've added all those features in, they fixed all those bugs. So it may be worth checking out because it was pretty sexy because they took all the best ideas from like Pipeline Deals, which was a pretty awesome sales CRM. Pipedrive. They stole Pipedrive's Kanban board idea. So they've got a nice Kanban board. So in Contactually, what's really unique about Contactually is this buckets concept. So they, as far as the CRM goes, most CRMs, you log into it and you look at your list and you try and figure out who you should reach out to. What's cool about Contactually is you create buckets or containers for each of your different types of contacts, and you put them in buckets. Now, a contact can be a one or multiple buckets. So for example, you have a family bucket, and then you have maybe like a bucket for like hot leads or deals, and then you have a bucket for like potential partners or whatever. And then on each bucket, you set a follow-up like timeline for each of these to rot over time. And does that make sense? So what happens is it will tell you to follow up. It will say, hey, today, here are the people you need to follow up with. So on my, for example, family, I would set maybe like once every 3 years. I'm just messing. So like once a year, I don't know. And then like hot leads every 3 days, right? I want to make sure like every 2 to 3 days I'm following up with them, right? So I can look and go into it and I'm like, oh, they're red. I need to follow up with these people. And so it kind of tells you how to follow up with people. And it also has built into it like drip campaigns that you can do when you put them into a bucket, and it has like all these other features, and it has like the Kanban boards for deals, and you can build out your sales process and link people to deals. And it has a lot of really cool bells and whistles. Like every day I keep thinking about going back to that girlfriend. I'm like, maybe I should, maybe I should, like, but I haven't done that yet. So, but I think that's better for people that need to be told to go follow up. But me and my team, we're aggressive, so we're always looking at where people are in our deals and going outward and reaching out to them. Whereas Contactually will tell you when you should be following up with people, and it helps you build these relationships and keep them from falling through the cracks in the long run. So some people back in the day, Contactually would link up to a CRM, and they didn't consider themselves a CRM. It was like a contact sort of management sort of system, and they would link it up to Salesforce or something else. So I don't know. I'm trying to think. So CRM, so going back to project management systems, like I really enjoyed using Solve 360, and that one has both. It has this project management and the CRM, and now it's just called Solve, I believe. That one I liked a lot. It could do some things that some like here's one basic thing that a lot of CRMs can't do. A lot of CRMs, you'd be surprised how many won't allow you to assign a person to more than one company. Does that make sense? So like I put in Robert, and I can just put in whatever something pros and your new brand name, and that's your only company. The problem with the people I work with that are entrepreneurs, like none of them have just one company.
Yeah.
Like
exactly.
Nobody. Like I have like 3 that I could put on there, right? 3 different brand names, right? And the other thing that a lot of them couldn't do that Solve could do that. The other thing that Solve could do is you could cross-link people, cross-link relationships, right? So for example, most CRMs, it's like, okay, the one link between people is usually like maybe a tag. You can make a tag and link people, which isn't super useful for knowing relationships between people. And the other one is you can link them to the same company, which is even more shitty if they can only be linked to one company, right? Yeah. So, yep. So then what Solve did is it allowed you to link people just to another person and then say what the relationship is. So you could say this person is at a totally different company, but you could just link to this other person and say this is their spouse. And that was super useful to me because sometimes their spouse is in a different business, or they have somebody that's an assistant, or what. I need to know these relationships between people, and Solve allowed me to do that. When I left Solve, I really missed that, and I recommended that as a feature request to Contactually, and I heard they've added it since. So since I left, I was always hoping and wishing. She put that lipstick on after I left. Like, here, could you just have this? It'd be so great. Like, yeah. All right. So So then project management system. So I had mentioned if did anybody just join? It's a pretty small group, but I really like Breeze right now for its simplicity and its pricing makes a lot more sense. I can have unlimited projects, so it's not based on projects because I want to create projects like crazy. And
they don't have an affiliate link. I checked.
Yeah, you got it.
No, they don't have one. I couldn't find it.
And they add new features like all the time. Like every day, it's like got this little notification at the top, and it's like new feature. And they've added several features we've asked them for, and it always just works. It just works, unlike Contactually for us. It was really frustrating. And I use a lot of different tools, but those are our favorites right now. Is using Slack, Breeze, Google Hangouts for meetings, Rooms.cc for meetings, like real quick ones in Slack. We've integrated with that our Slack, so you can just type /room.
What do you use for an autoresponder?
For like email?
Yeah.
See, I don't really do that stuff yet. I've got MailChimp account. You're gonna have to level me up in this stuff.
Yeah, I was looking at ActiveCampaign.
That's sick, dude.
ActiveCampaign looks really nice, and I was also looking at as like an Infusionsoft, like a visual, like building a customer journey process type of thing.
Yeah.
Entreport?
Yeah. No, I was looking at Entreport. It sounds pretty cool, but they're kind of an all-in-one, does everything, right? But they're called what are they called? What is it? Something HQ.
Oh, yeah.
Autopilothq.com.
That's just isn't it a base version of Entreport?
Autopilot HQ is only the customer journey sort of thing. So you can integrate it with like send out cards and like all these different services, and you can create these processes to take a customer through. So,
dude, I actually, speaking of
it looks
cards,
cool. So,
amcards.com. I met the owner, and it is the coolest freaking thing
I've
ever seen.
So one of my favorite tools right now, I should change the topic of this to something like just tools, but one of my favorite tools that I use with clients, because I'm far away from all my clients, but I like using video. So with a lot of clients, I will use Hangouts, like when we're planning websites and stuff like that. But a really cool tool when I'm trying to build a relationship or solve a problem, like for example, one of my sales guys booked an appointment with a lady, like outbound sales, right? Which is pretty, usually low value. Like it's probably not going to work out, but booked this appointment, cold called her, reached out, got her to book an appointment, and she scheduled it. And then she tried to cancel, and she got pissed off because we don't allow it to cancel after a certain time period when it's really close to the appointment. And so she had to email me and request to cancel, and she sent me kind of a mean email. And I was like, okay. So then saying, if you're so important, your time's so important, then, maybe you should value other people's time and allow them to cancel the appointment. I was like, okay. So what did I do? I opened up my phone and or my computer. I can't remember which one, but I use this service called BombBomb. It's bombbomb.com. You can't say it on an airplane.
BombBomb.
BombBomb.com. So BombBomb.com is sweet because what you can do with BombBomb is it's video emails.
Nice.
So you pull it up on your phone, the app on my iPhone, and I hit record, do a video, put in the email address, and it sends them this email that has like a screenshot of the video or the video's there, I don't know, and then a little note that you can put below it. And then I always make the subject line say personal video message from Jason Hull, and it's that quick, like it just sends it. And so they get this email, and then it tells me if they opened it. And it tells me then if they view the video. And I've never had anyone not view the video, no matter what was going on or whether they thought I was, whatever. Like the open rate is always like 100%.
So what is it better than just shooting the video yourself, and
That's what I do. I just shoot a video myself and I send it.
yeah, but it looks like it's like $40 a month. What does it do differently than just putting like a Sidekick tracker that shows that they open it?
Well, I don't care about the tracking, but I guess you could do that, and I guess you could do a YouTube video and then go embed the YouTube video in it, and then, or I don't know, link to it or something, and say I sent you a video message. But for me, it's just quick and easy, and everybody's always impressed by it. So I've sent one and then had it like I'm getting read receipts like coming in notification wise like over and over and over again. I know they send it to like 40 people. They're like, look what this guy did.
Oh, that's cool.
And almost like most times that I do it, I'm trying to solve a problem. Like maybe a client's pissed off that there's a delay on a project or something's happened. And I send this video and I'm like, hey, you know, say their name's Fred. I'm like, hey, Fred, I understand your frustration. Here's what's going on with your project. Here's what we're doing. We got stuck. We're trying to work with this third-party company for your blah, 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 and get this handled. And I want you to know that, like, you're a priority, and we want to take care of you. And something like this. And I send the video, and then I get an email back, and he says, you know, thanks so much. Like, and it even has a link on these when you send it. It says, click here to send a video message back. And they can just click that and they can do that. Cool. Nobody's ever done that, right? Because that feels scary to some people, I think. But people love it. So I sent this video to this lady today. Wish I could just play videos in here, but I just sent this video to her, and I said, because I thought it sounded like she thought maybe my sales guys were saying my time's real important, and alluding to the fact that maybe it's more important than her time. And so I just said, her name was Rhonda. I said, Rhonda, look, if anyone on my staff or me gave you the impression that I feel like my time's more important than anybody else, that's not the case. I do value my time, but I also believe in valuing other people's time too. And because I value people's time and my own time, I schedule interactions. And because I value my time, my scheduler, which is badass too, I use Schedule Once. Highly recommend it.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yes.
It's just so intuitive. I think their pricing is outrageous, but it's so intuitive that I use it. So I hate their pricing.
Isn't it like $8 a month or something? $10 a month?
Not if you have a team of different people and you're paying for every page and every single thing. It's crazy. So, but yeah, so I've even switched to other ones temporarily that were cheaper and stuff like that. They're like a Pointlet. Pointlet's pretty good if you have a pretty linear way of doing things. A Pointlet allows you to have a team and things like that. It's kind of a watered down version, but it integrates with Google Calendar nicely. All right, but I love Schedule Once. So I said to her, Rhonda, I said my scheduler doesn't, like, I set it so that after it hits a certain time limit before my appointment, it doesn't allow you to just cancel the appointment, because we want people to stick to appointments because we value our time and we can't fill that time by that point. And I just explained this to her in a video, just personally, just like I was talking to her. And I sent this to her, and she sent me an email back that was all nice. And she says, I appreciate your apology and all this stuff. And maybe, you know, we can work together in the future or something. And total shift, right? And how long did it take me to do the video? Like total time, maybe 5 minutes, because I was talking for a little while, but that's better than me having somebody out there that like hates my business. And who knows, maybe I get a deal out of it in the future or whatever. But I've used that to solve problems several times, and I love using it when I sign a deal. So I'll go like downstairs and I'll go find my kids and I'll say, hey, John just signed. Let's send John a message, because he signed off on the proposal. I'll say, hey, John, this Jason Hole here. I'm talking to my phone, right? This is my phone. I'm doing this. Here we go. Hey, this is Jason, John. Just wanted to say thank you for signing the proposal. We know that means that you trust us and you're placing your faith in us as a company, and we want to say thank you. And I have some people here that want to say thank you to you. And then I pan over to my 3-year-old and I say thank you to John. She's like, thank you, John. And then I say my son Hudson, and he goes, thanks, John. He's like 7, right? And then my wife's like, hey, thanks, John, right? Because my wife's hot. And then, you know, so I do all this stuff, and then I send this to them, and they like it creates this relationship that didn't maybe wasn't at that level before. It's really cool. So I love BombBomb. I love the video messages to people. That's been really cool. All right, so Michael, you popped in here, Mike at Sprint. Did you have questions, or you want to tell us what project management system you're using, or?
Oh, Robert told me to jump in, and
Yeah, man.
all of them. What's up, dude?
Robert, tell him to send me money.
I haven't found anything.
Put your PayPal link in there.
There you go.
I made a
So,
link
yeah.
just so people to send me $200,
Uh,
like real quick. I just send it to people. Go ahead, Michael.
I don't know. Just like, there's no good tools out there. You have to. I hate it. It's infuriating. I was actually tempted to create some type of software just for me, just for selfish reasons, just because.
That's how a lot of projects start. That's how a lot of these software companies start, right? They're like, oh, I don't like anything else out there. I'm going to make my own. And then they start selling it to other people. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying, even just for personal, just basic stuff. I tried a thing that was decent called Simpleology.
Yeah.
And it actually is, the concept is really cool. And I think, but it's ugly. It's not, if they can make it look like Apple and have just a couple things different to it, like integrate email with it, that'd be pretty sick. But I don't know. I use a lot of automated things. So I use things that I can, if I have like something simple and stupid, I've been using, I hate to-do lists, but I've been using it to dump my ideas in and then throw them into organize them after kind of thing. So Todoist is a pretty cool app. And if you use IFTTT, they have a thing called like a Do Note. So basically, it's an iPhone app, and you can set up different things. So I have one go to my work list, big ideas, other things. So if I have an idea of something I want to do or buy or something, I just hit the button. I hit the little microphone thing, so I don't even type it, and I just speak it, and it just sends it right into the thing. And I also have one of those to send an email to this outsourcing thing I use called Time Saver, and it's $69 a month for unlimited tasks. And so I'll have them research something. I just hit the note, speak what I got to say, find the best price on this, so this and that, and it sends it off to them. So it's pretty cool.
You do all kinds of little things there. Yeah. So so the IFTT or whatever, that's kind of like Zapier.
Yeah, it's a free version. It's not as cool as Zapier. Zapier can do a little bit more. But yeah, there's some pretty cool automation things you can do.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Google Apps. By the way, that's like the core of my business, using Google Apps.
Me too, man.
Love it. Love Gmail. Love how it integrates with. I use a lot of apps that integrate with it. You know, my CRM integrates with it. My pretty much everything. So you brought it, like, you remind me of another tool that I love using. So a really great tool for a lot of different things. A really great tool is MindMeister. I love mind mapping. Yeah. And so I have a MindMeister account, and I use that to map out website projects, to figure out site maps, to brainstorm ideas. It's basically like doing an outline, but it's nonlinear, and you can just like get your ideas out, and it's closer to the way we think. So I love mind mapping.
Have you ever used Glyphy?
I play with Glyphy. Glyphy's more like almost like a Visio, though, isn't it?
I mean, one of my guys uses it to draw out like
flow charts and
flow charts and like sales funnel maps and stuff like that.
Yeah, so Glyphy sounds cool for that. Lucid Chart's a really popular one in that space too.
Damn, you know like every tool in the world.
I've used a lot of tools. I've been doing this kind of stuff, like just nerdy stuff and managing projects and trying to manage a cloud-based team, right? So everything that we do, like Google Apps is kind of at the foundation, at the core. We use Google Drive. That's where we store all of our stuff for our clients and everything. We have a folder for each website project by domain name in a folder called projects or whatever, clients.
I use Dropbox currently, but
we have Dropbox in case clients need to use that to send us stuff like images and a bunch of stuff. But Google Drive comes with apps, and it's just a lot easier to use as a team, especially managing permissions. So part of managing a team is also segmenting permissions. So one lesson that I learned in project management is if you make all of the information open, which is generally a good principle. Like my business name is Open Potion, right? The core business name. But I learned pretty quickly that sometimes that's a problem. So here's where it's a problem. So say you bring on web designers to work for your business, right? To build websites and stuff. Web designers, if they're available to do work, it's because they don't know how to do sales. Otherwise, they're busy, right? Then I had this. We used on Google Apps. We use Google Sites for our intranet, and I had one intranet, right?
Yeah.
And I had my sales scripts and sales information and stuff like that, and processes in there. And then I had like web design processes and stuff in there. And these web designers, I started noticing, would look at how I do things, get familiar, and then they would probably read the stuff on the internet, and then they would quit because they'd learn how to do sales. So then I had to make a separate intranet, I realized, for sales team and segment this knowledge, right? So I had the sales intranet, and then I have my web design intranet, and that's been a lot more effective. So little tidbit of learning there, like because especially if you're working with in an environment where you're like a team of freelancers, if you teach them how you do sales or how to do sales, and that's not their role, then they leave because then they have business. They don't need to work with you anymore, right? So, yeah.
Right.
But a lot of them don't like doing sales. And so it's kind of this, for my business, it's kind of this win-win that they get the best of being a freelancer, which is the consistent work, which is rare. But then they can still take time off whenever they need to, and they just let us know, and we make sure that we don't have too many gaps going on, right? So they still have that freedom that they crave without the lulls in making money and trying to figure out how to get people on as clients. So
work with a certain vertical,
and you pay everybody as an independent contractor, right?
Yeah. So I use a lot of my team are on Upwork, which formerly known as Odesk. Okay. So a lot of them are on there, but they pretty much, several of them just work for me exclusively. Unless I don't have any deals at the time. Then I go scrounging for work.
Gotcha.
But, and then I have a couple that are not through that, and I use Hubstaff currently for that, which is similar. It creates some accountability. So like Upwork, it does the screenshots while they're working and tracks time and this kind of stuff. And so I don't really look at that stuff unless I have a need to. Like I start feeling the vibe, like they're jilting me on work or stuff like that. And then I can look and prove it and then fire them. So,
do you deal with one specific vertical or for the web design?
A year ago, I started a niche called DoorGrow. So it's doorgrow.com, targeting just property management companies, which was a niche we're really strong in. We're like ranked second on Google for property management websites right now. So it's a nice little niche. I like that niche because they're entrepreneurs, small business owners, but they actually have money to spend, and it's nice. I like working with them. I'm currently coaching right now 5 property management entrepreneurs. So, and they pay me a lot of money.
I know someone that's doing the web design stuff, but doing kind of more just for like chiropractors and charging them like $40-50 a month for the hosting. But I mean, even my chiropractor's been with the same guy for 10 years, paying $50 a month. So
I charge $129 a month.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So I charge more than most people would think would make sense, but it's all about results and it's all about value, like how you position it.
Yeah, if you're just doing a site, it's one thing, but if you're gonna, promise them any kind of ranking or
I don't. Yeah, and that's not even. I'm not even including SEO and things like that. Like it's pretty interesting.
And it's 129. Is that with updates too?
Yeah, we keep their site upgraded, updated, and then if they need any tweaks or changes, we'll take care of those for them. Yeah,
that's cool. I mean, I like the recurring model better than just charging them.
I love recurring income. I love it. So, yeah. So, but they feel like we're delivering value, and we are. Like they could go, and we've had some clients like just move their hosting like Bluehost or something, and go get cheap hosting, but you kind of get what you pay for. And they're not going to support WordPress, and they're not going to keep it maintained and updated. But if the user can figure that stuff out, then they don't need us anyway.
Yeah.
But we're far cheaper, because you'd be surprised how many business owners go out and they hire somebody to be on their team to deal with IT stuff or their website or whatever, and they're paying them like 40, 50 grand a year.
Are you serious? Wow.
Well, think about it. Like, what's a $20 an hour employee? 40 grand a year, full time.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Never mind a desk or
most business owners that I know, like if they want a decent employee, they're spending at least like $13, $15 an hour on an employee. That's like 30 grand a year. That's if you never feed them lunch.
Yeah.
Right? Then if you're feeding them lunches and there's incentives and benefits and all these other things, like it's expensive. And if I can build a website, or I can claim that I can save them the cost of one employee annually, like anything I do is a no-brainer to them. It's all about connecting it to value and results, instead of like, comparing yourself to some competitor. I don't know. So
do you get anything up front from them too for the website, or is that just the?
Oh yeah, I'm closing WordPress website deals usually between 4 to 10 grand, in that range.
Nice. I hated doing it. I was doing it for a while, and then I wanted to get out of it. I kept raising my prices, and a funny thing happened. People kept saying yes, and I was like, "What the fuck?" I didn't want to do the job, and I was like, "I should have went higher." And then I remember I did one. I was like, I thought I was around $1,800, and I went to like 2,200, then 28, then 32, then 38, then 44, and I was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah. Yeah. My next goal is to get away from hourly based pricing at all and just charge on results, because that's really what they want. Nobody wants a website.
Yeah, but you could charge me $5 an hour. If it takes you 3,000 hours, it doesn't do me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's true. It's true. But like if I went, any business owner that I know, like if I said, "Hey, I can make you an extra 500 grand in the next 2 years. Would you spend 50 grand with me?" They would say yes. If they had the money, they would do it. It's like a no-brainer investment.
I got tired of the small business guys. I was talking to my chiropractor, right? And I said, "How much is a patient worth to you?" He goes, "I don't know." I go, "Think about it. How much does the average patient spend a year?" He goes, "About $1,200. And I go, "How long do they stay with you?" "Oh God, 5 years more." So let's say 5 years. So you get a new patient,
$6 grand, $7 grand.
$6 grand, right? I said, "Would you pay me $300 if I sent you a new patient?" He goes, "No." And I was like, "You're an idiot." $300.
He doesn't have to. And the problem though that chiropractors deal with is their limited resource is time.
Yeah, but I found out what chiropractors. I talked to a couple of them, and I found out most of them become chiropractors because they're lazy. They get comfortable. They want to work the freaking little shift in the morning, and then sometimes a little shift in the afternoon. My chiropractor doesn't want more patients. He doesn't want to see more people. Yeah. He's comfortable.
Because their limits on time, so they're tapped on time. So if they want to live, once they have enough money, they just do whatever they want, right? So their biggest limited resource is time. They're not worried about the money. So
yeah, he asked me. He goes, "How long does it take you to build a website?" And I says, "How long does it take you to adjust my neck? What does that have to do with anything?"
Yeah.
So you charge me $40 to do a minute adjustment?
Then you just got to find the chiropractors that are either starting out, or that are hustling, or that are hungry for more deals.
And that's the thing. Yeah. He's been doing it for a while, so he used to do 10 times as much marketing, and he got half the results. Now he doesn't do any marketing, and he's getting more results because of the referrals.
Yeah, eventually, almost any business will build kind of a referral sort of engine, and they've got business just coming in from referrals. And referrals are a slam dunk when it comes to sales. Like, they're easy. Your close rate's going to be really high.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah. So, all right. So, Lighten Up Global. Do you have some questions about any software, especially cloud-based project management systems. I've used quite a few. I'm not even thinking of all of them. I've used tons of CRMs. I've used, what have I used? I've used Capsule. I've messed around with Highrise. I've used Solve. I've used Contactually. I've used Pipeline Deals. I've used Pipedrive. I've used pretty much if you Google Sales CRM, I've probably used it. The only one I haven't used is I've even been messing with Infusionsoft lately to play around with it, but yeah, I regret that one. All right, Lighten Up Global's coming in here. Are you ready to lighten up?
Hello.
I don't know. I'm ready to get heavy.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
It's getting heavy in here.
Most of the work I do is either a CRM. I'm the marketing director for a translation company. And so we have outsourced translators that we use, and then we have a virtual team that we're trying to figure out what project software we want to use.
Yeah.
So a project comes in, it goes to port 1, they delegate it, it comes back, it goes to bucket 2, they delegate it, it comes back. It's pretty process heavy.
Very workflow.
I'm sorry?
Oh, do you have any headphones?
Yeah, but it just faded out for 1 second.
Because we're hearing it's echoing a lot. Your volume's looping. So if you have headphones, it'd be helpful if you plug them in real quick.
I don't have them right now. I can just.
I'll ignore myself, or just turn the volume down so you can still just low enough so you can at least hear what I'm saying. So yeah, that's very workflow based, right? It's a very systematic process. Like I used to work at HP, right? And I managed a system there called Concentra, which is their system for every PDF document through an approval process and everything else. And it was like I don't know if it was a system they bought, but I think it was pretty much a proprietary sort of deal, right? This Concentra system. So, and they had this workflow, like it had to go through all these different steps, and each department had different workflows. It had to go to certain QA departments or for approval and whatever, right? So all these documents would go through this, and different people were assigned to different task levels and groups. And so this is more of a workflow type of system, which is very different than most like task-oriented, like project management type of systems. Like if you're working on like a web design project, or you're working on something else where people need to go in and do things and mark it done and that sort of thing. Now we do like where we use like I mentioned, we use Breeze PM, and which is Kanban based, but it still relies on people like moving things to certain stages. Nobody's like assigned to a stage. You're assigned to particular cards. And so this would be very different. So, but if you did find a Kanban-based system where you could see everything and see which stage it's at, and it had all the stages, that would be useful. So you may want to just look into what Kanban things are out there. And Kanban spelled Kanban. Just so you can visualize. I love to visualize it.
I love your idea about Boom Boom.
Bomb.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying. I've been using BombBomb for at least a year now, and I don't use it as often as I should. But when I remember it, it's a tool in my hat. Like in like a situation like I had today, it comes in just incredibly handy, because nobody, like I could try calling that lady and would not be able to get a hold of her to solve the problem or to make sure I felt like things were okay. And same thing with some of my clients. Like if there's a problem, sometimes it's just hard to reach them by phone, but video is one way. I can just send the video, it's out there, and they're going to watch it. Like it's just too tempting, and it's too novel right now. Like when it gets to the point where everybody's sending videos in your email, then, maybe people will start ignoring them. But right now people ignore email like crazy. But if you get something that says personal video message, they're going to be like, okay, I'm going to watch this, right? So, in fact, now that I think about it, maybe I should have my sales guys just prospect that way. Just make video messages and we'll send them to them. Hey.
Well, yeah, and we do the translations for the United States Patent and Trademark Office.
Okay.
And law firms. So when you're sending it to a patent attorney, it's pretty straightforward. It's like, hey, we do it for them, and we'd love to do it for you. So that's a great tool. I like it a lot. So I'm learning a lot from just listening to you guys.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty nerdy. So when it comes to software type of stuff, but it's pretty much you and me left in this room now. So if you have any questions, go ahead and ask.
The thing I'm doing next is trying to put my funnel together for an Infusionsoft type scheme. But Infusionsoft's just so fucking complicated for me.
You know what? I'm really not seeing the benefit. Like, I could see that if I had a massive list and a massive empire, and maybe you have a massive list.
I don't.
And I had a massive amount of money, then I would use it and I would go hire somebody that was an expert at it to do it for me. I could figure it out. Like, they coach you for a while, and I went through the coaching with them, and I was like, I could do this stuff, but I don't have time. My time's worth far more, and it would take me hours to do that. It would take me hours to figure it out. I don't have time for that. And
I went to a Maria Andros seminar in LA this week, and she has one video, videos to make six figures. And she said it, video 1, you get 3 chances. Video 2, you get 3 chances. Video 3, you get if you say yes on 1, it goes here. If you say no, it goes here.
Mm-hmm.
That thing just operates. And so you put in $4 of Facebook ads on the front end, and you get X amount of dollars on the back. But it's a super huge architecture. I mean, it's really complicated, and I just don't know if I've got the endurance really to build it. I think I'll probably outsource it before I'll do it myself.
Yeah, and you want to go find an Infusionsoft expert and hire them. So you can even just go on Upwork, find an Infusionsoft guru.
There's another one
based in the US.
It's kind of it's Infusionsoft Lite, if you want to think of it. But they do a combination of CRM, email marketing, and tracking of your clients and autoresponders. Mm-hmm. So we're using that right now. But it's once you get really going, where you have many paths the customer can go, and then if this happens, then what, and that happens, then what. They're really the leader right now.
Yeah, I mean, if most of it's email. Is that what most of it is emails and follow-up emails and stuff like that?
It's actually autoresponders to an ad that leads to engagement. And then if it leads to engagement, it goes here. If they watch the first video and they don't go to the second one, it goes to here. Then they have 2 choices, and it loops back to give them the choice. I mean, it's pretty...
Yeah. I mean, if you build a system like that, because any sort of sales process that you have has leaks in it, right? No matter how good it is, it has leaks. And there's several stages, and each one's like a bucket feeding in the next one, and there's leaks. Time, energy, money, resources, whatever you want to call that water, but it's pouring out and it's dripping, right? So when you build out a funnel like that, the idea is that some of these leaks, you're like grabbing it again and like looping it back through, right? Into this process, and it makes it very, very leak proof ish, right? Is kind of the idea, but it takes a lot of work to build that out, to build out all the variables, all the alternatives, everything else. When for a lot of people, if they just did more webinars, they would probably make a lot more money, right? They would more deals if they just did more webinars, because how long would it take to build something like that out? It would take a long time and a lot of energy and a lot of resources. And once it's done maybe, but things change so quickly. It's like, okay, now do we build another one, or do we change this or whatever? And
you'd have to have the conversion percentage fixed at a certain amount where the ads are converting at a certain amount, and it has a shelf life that's long enough. She's been working that one video for 3 years.
But is she selling something fairly low dollar then? That she has this pipeline that's like this strong? Oh, okay. Yeah, it's got to be pretty high dollar, I would think. If it's high dollar, then it's probably worth the investment. I mean, if I created some courses eventually, which is kind of on my, a goal in the future, if I get to the point where I could close like through one sort of automated system or webinar or whatever, like $100,000 a day, then yeah, I would totally use Infusionsoft. I'd build it out. I would, no brainer, right?
Right.
But I got to start at square one. So
yeah,
I got to start building the webinar, right?
The ideas, and I really appreciate how bright you are. Really love that, and just to listen to smart conversation is really encouraging.
Well, thank you.
And one tip is worth it, like the one tip was a great score for me for tonight. So I really appreciate it.
Great. Glad you got some value out of it. So thanks.
Yeah, I am interested in your headset. Now tell me about this headset.
Yeah, it's pretty huge, huh?
Yeah, well, what is it? The quality is great.
Oh, do I sound pretty awesome?
It does sound good.
Yeah, it's got a nice little noise canceling microphone. So the headset is by Sennheiser. They make amazing audio stuff.
Okay.
They're a German company. They're one of the tops in the industry. So I love Sennheiser stuff. And this is one of their gamer headsets, video game headsets.
Well, it sounds
Looking
great.
for the name here. But yeah, it's Sennheiser gamer headset. And then I just had to buy a little adapter that took the mic jack and the headphone jack and merged them together so I could plug it into my iPhone and my MacBook.
Okay.
So
it sounds really good.
Yeah, that's great audio too. So it's pretty.
That's the point, because if I'm capturing my blabs and putting them on Lighten Up TV, and people can endure some video inconsistencies, but not audio.
Yeah. Having the mic, I like having the mic near my mouth. Mm-hmm. My webcam is nice. It's like one of the best on the market. It's this nice Logitech webcam, 1080, blah, blah, blah. But the mic on it isn't super great because it's picking up all this audio, like the fans on my computer and everything else. And so, and I'm on phone calls all day long, so I like using this too. I'll just switch it between my computer or my phone, depending on what I'm doing. I just plug it into one or the other. But yeah, having a really nice mic, having a really nice headset is nice if you're on the phone a lot or on webinars or anything. But and my old one used to be black because I had a black one from them, and which was the previous model. It didn't have like a flexible boom mic, and the boom mic was plastic, and it started cracking, like it just broke. And so I sent it in because they have a nice warranty, and I said, "Hey, this thing broke," and they sent me this one back. So I got this. Now I look like a video gamer. Before, like I had one of my nephews ask me if I was a pilot. I was like, I'm on a computer right now. I'm not flying anywhere. But he's like, Uncle Jason, are you a pilot? I was like, no, I'm not a pilot. But
it sounds really good. That's all that matters, really.
Yeah, pick one up. Sennheiser, they're gamer headsets. Now they have two types. There's, when in the headset world, if you're looking for high-end headsets, there's open-aural, right? Or basically open ear, and there's closed ear. For me, like I'm an auditory type of person, right? If you're familiar with NLP at all, but I'm a very auditory type of person, auditory and visual, and I cannot stand closed aural headsets, especially when I'm talking, because I can't hear myself. It's like talking with your ears plugged. It freaks me out. Like I feel claustrophobic. So make sure you get the open aural version. So that's the one that I have. I like that one because I can still hear everything going on in the room. My wife walks in and talks to me. I can hear her. I'm not like, what? Right? So I like that. Some people prefer the closed aural, circumaural, or whatever it's called, but I don't like that.
Cool. Well, thanks for the tips.
You bet.
I'll just see you soon.
All right. We'll see ya.
Take care.
Thanks. All right, Robert, it's you and me in your empty chair.
Did I come back just in time?
Yeah. So
everybody got tired and bounced.
yeah, well, it was pretty much. I just spoke with a lady, and it was nice. So we were just, she liked Bomb and thought that was a cool idea. So, and then she was asking me about my headset. It's pretty obvious. Like, it's hard not to notice. Yeah, she's like, the sound sounds really good. I'm like, cool. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Better. My the mic's expensive, so
yeah, no kidding.
So Robert, what project management systems have you used? You said Basecamp, and you're using the Teamwork one right now.
Yeah, I'm trying that out.
Any others?
So I was at a big mastermind event over the last weekend, and they recommended Teamwork, so I figured I'd try it out. So, but I was using Basecamp and still use it for one different thing that I'm doing, and seems to work okay. But
you may want to check out Breeze and just see, like, if you've ever messed with Trello. I love how visual Trello is, but if you've ever messed with Trello and you like Basecamp, then you'd like Breeze. Like, everything looks like it was taken from there. Like, the developer, without a doubt, had the mindset that he wanted his dream system, and he merged those two together is basically what he did. And it works really solid. Like real time things are popping up and you can move stuff around. I love it. I think it's just really cool. So
cool.
And I think it's way more affordable than, I don't know what Teamwork is, but it's way more affordable than Basecamp, I thought.
I think when
it comes to a project per project basis, I didn't like the per project limit on Basecamp.
Yeah, right. I think for the premium level, I can't remember how much it includes, but it was like $49 a month for Teamwork.
Cool. So, all right. Well, I'm going to stop the recording. I guess I should say something before I stop it, huh? So we've been talking here with Robert, and we've been hanging out, and we've been talking about different software, kind of devolved into different software tools that are being used. And I've got a lot of different software tools. Like, if it's out there and it's cloud-based, I've probably played with it. So if anybody has questions, feel free to check us out at openpotion.com, and maybe we can consult you on some of that stuff. So maybe I'll create a course in the future on running a virtual company. That'd be pretty cool. Seems to be popular lately. Everybody's working from home. All right. But anyway, I'm Jason Hole. I'm out.